All right, guys, so today we're going to check out another new pair of truly wireless earbuds from the company Monster. Now, this is a first look at the brand new Monster Clarity 102 Airlinks. Now, this is more the AirPod style, so it has the little stem on the outside, and these retail for $90. But let's go ahead and check out some of the features and what you get inside the box. Now, the first thing I want to point out is these do have Bluetooth 5.0, and they had an absolutely stable, solid connection. I didn't have any dropouts. I didn't experience any lag when it came to watching videos. And then also the IPX rating is IPX5. So these are water resistant, but they're not waterproof. So they're fine if you're going to go out and do like normal day-to-day activities, or if you sweat heavily, just make sure that you do not submerge these into water. Now, as far as what you get inside the box, you get the small, medium, and large silicone ear tips. And I will say right now, it makes a huge difference to get the right fit in the ear. Otherwise, these are not gonna sound good. Now, also in the box, you get a little soft pouch that you can carry the actual carrying case in so it doesn't get scratched up. This isn't necessarily needed, but it's nice that they throw it in the box. And then sadly, for the charging cable, they are still using micro USB. Again, I still don't understand why companies are doing this, but that's what you get inside the box. Now, speaking of the charging cable, battery life on these, you're going to get somewhere around 6 hours on an individual charge. And then with the charging case, you're going to get a total of around 36 hours. And so battery life, that's actually pretty solid overall. Now moving over to the case itself, I really like the case on these. I like the top, how it just kind of swivels to open up so you can see the earbuds. On the front, you can see you have 4 indicator lights so that it's letting you know what your battery life is on the case itself. And then when you swivel it open, that's where you see your earbuds. Now, to initially pair these, you need to leave them in the case. That's what keeps them in pairing mode so that you can pair them to your device. Now, the earbuds themselves, again, like I said, they are styled more like the AirPod style, but they use actual physical buttons. But the buttons itself are very easy to push, and I'm happy to say that you can control everything. So you have play, pause, skip forward, go backwards, and then being able to turn your volume up and down, which again, most companies are kind of missing out on. Now, one thing I do want to point out about the controls, and this really had me nervous about these at first. I turned the volume all the way up on my phone and noticed that the earbuds themselves were still kind of low when it came to volume. And this is one of those rare occasions where it seems like the volume has a separate control than what the phone itself does. So to get the most out of these, I needed to turn the volume all the way up on my phone and then control the volume even more on the earbuds. And it really got loud once I got to that point, which we'll talk a little bit more when we get into the sound, but it made a huge difference. Now, for you guys that like to use your earbuds individually, you'll be happy to know that you can use either the left or the right. And as far as the microphones go, they are using bi-directional microphones, which is really focusing in on your mouth and the dialogue. And I think the mics here do a decent job. But you guys can be a judge by listening to a test here. All right, guys, so here is a mic test using the Monster Clarity 102 Airlinks. I think it picks up my vocals extremely well. I think it's more on the warmer side, but as far as taking calls, I don't think you're going to have any issues. And so here is the microphone with a crowd noise being played in the background so that you get a better idea of what it sounds like when you're taking a call in public. So now let's talk about the sound. And I kind of want to go back to what I was talking about with the volume, because initially, before I knew that the volume control on the earbuds was basically separate from the device that you're using, I didn't get a loud volume just straight out of the phone before I knew I could turn them up even more on the earbuds. And that had a huge impact on the sound, because initially I thought they sounded muddy. I thought they were very, very warm sounding, and there wasn't a whole lot of detail. But once I realized that I could turn it up even louder than what the phone was trying to do on its own, it completely opened these things up. In fact, they actually have a decent amount of air in the sound, which is causing for a more open sound, but then they became very detailed. The treble in these had a very nice, bright feel to them. The mids at first, like I said, that sounded completely buried before I could turn these things up the way they needed to be. But once I got it to turn up the way I needed it to, the vocals sounded fantastic. This is a very, very detail-oriented earbud once you figure that out. But the bass, whether you're listening to it on low volume or whether you're listening to it at high volume, definitely has its presence. It has so much punch to it, but it's not loose. It still has a more tight, impactful feel to it, but it adds a warmer tone at lower volumes, but at higher volumes, you notice that the mids and the trebles are coming out a lot better, a lot cleaner, and a lot louder, which equals out to the bass, which is always just punchy no matter what volume level. So it's a little strange. If you're somebody that's going to listen to these at lower volume, you more than likely are not gonna get the most out of these. But if you are somebody that's going to listen to your music loud and you like a dynamic sound, I don't wanna say loud in a sense that you're like just blasting them in your ears. It's more so just being able to listen to it above like a normal average volume level. I felt like anything below that was just doing these a disservice, where anything above that made these sound absolutely incredible. So it really kind of comes down to how you like to listen to your music at what kind of volume level, but the sound stage and sound imaging absolutely opened up at higher volumes. I really felt like I was in a larger size room, but the ability to be able to tell where instruments were coming from were absolutely excellent in this pair, and I was kind of surprised. Again, especially considering I thought these things sounded like crap at first until I figured out the volume thing. So as far as my cons go for these, I'm definitely gonna say that the micro USB is a con. There's basically no way around that. And then the fact that the volume control is separate than the device that you're using, even though that is common, especially with more older devices, it's a little strange that it's not basically in sync. The fact that you have to turn your volume up on your phone and then control more volume from the earbuds to get the most out of these, I think it's just a little inconvenient. And then other than that, I really wish that they were able to get the detail out of the sound at lower volumes that these are able to do at higher volumes. It just makes for an overall just balanced listening experience instead of having to basically have to turn these up to get the most out of them. But outside of that, this is a fantastic pair at $90. I think this is way better than the AirPods in general, and the fact that they come in at $90 and have the features that they do and have the sound that they do makes this an easy pair to recommend. But guys, that's my review on the brand new Monster Clarity 102 Airlinks. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.